Hello guys and welcome here to the Jello Cup Series. This is race number 11 here today from the Talladega Super Speedway. Today we present to you the not the Aaron's 499, that's the old race. Today's race is the Geico 500 here from Talladega Super Speedway. This is the second of 6 restrictor plates on the schedule. The next ones we race are Pigs Creek, Daytona, Talladega, and Joltis. Excuse me. So those will be the next ones that we run. And of course, these guys are going to want to get as much practice time as they can in the draft before that Joltis race, which was mentioned before. Of course, starting on the pole and finishing, or beginning right where she left off at Daytona, it is Stacy Stickler on the pole. To her outside is the number 5 of Brad Stover, who has struggled a little bit to start the season, hoping to get things going here at Talladega. Of course, it is a long race. We have the big one to look forward to, as we always do when we enter these restrictor plate races. But one little tidbit before we begin. Trevor Collins did win back-to-back races. Mitchell Collins drivers have won the past 4 Jello Cup Series races, something I don't think we've ever seen in Jello Cup Series history. Can anybody stop the 6, the 22, and the 95 today? That'll be the question as we get going. When will the big one strike? And how many cars will survive to see the finish of this race? One thing we need to keep in mind, there will be overtime at our dispense if we need it. And we have unlimited attempts at it. So that 29 lap mark is essentially meaningless as we enter today's race. So we will see what happens. This is the Jello Cup Series. This is the Geico 500 from Talladega. We'll be right back in just a moment with the green flag.
Through turn 4. Does the 24 have enough? It's going to be a drag race to the line. We're going down the front stretch. The 96 wins the race at Coda.
Here we go. Keep in mind we got a new package here at the restrictor plates. You saw it at Daytona. I sure hope this race goes a little better than that. But the pace car will peel off. There will be a little more separation between these cars, and we'll see what happens, as it will be Stacy Stickler and Brad Stover leading us to the green. We are underway at Talladega. And already you see the 52 wanting to force 3 wide for the lead. An aggressive side draft, but the 52 has no help. So Usman Hamid might have just made a rookie mistake that'll send him to the back. The good news for him, again, look at it, it's only lap 1. Back there as well as Jeff Scott, but here goes the 21 of Max Anderson for the lead. One of the 2 Barstool Sports Fords in the field. The other one is the number 14 of Alexander Rowe, but Max Anderson to the lead, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he's a former winner here at Talladega. Of course, another guy who has won a restrictor plate race here at Talladega is Diego Yepes in that 77, so keep an eye on him as we go through the course of this race. Max Anderson, though, leads the opening lap. Again, I remind you, even though we don't have a caution yet, we do have overtime at our dispense. So could this race go to overtime? I would believe it's the second race in Jello Cup Series history. I think we've only had one in history go to overtime when we had that rule a few seasons ago. I said that guy's going to be the guy to beat entering this race, Trevor Collins. And his friends Mitchell and Carter Joey. Those will be the three to beat, as Trevor Collins will lead the next lap. And keep in mind, the 6 could do something very unprecedented. Not only would that group win 5 straight races, that group of 3 win 5 straight races, the 6 of Trevor Collins could do a first in Jello Cup Series history by winning back-to-back-to-back. We will have to keep an eye on it, as Tyler Faden is pushing him in that 16. Keep in mind, Tyler Faden missed the Daytona 500. And he will look to redeem himself here at the Geico 500. As you see behind, that's the 88 of Dick Clark, and the 95 of Carter Joey is coming to the front with, guess who? Mitchell Collins. So those 3 who have won the past 4 Jello Cup Series races now running up front. And again, I remind you, the ratings are even. I have not modified them whatsoever since the start of the season. This has just been luck right here. Dick Clark to the lead, though, in the 88. And that moves the 6 up high. The 6 will be headed toward the back now, as Dick Clark will get his chance to lead a lap. Ooh, 4 wide back there. That usually never ends up too well, or usually never ends too well. Here comes Mina Monroe, and the 6 is crossing the track, looking for the race lead. The crossover. Trevor Collins back to the race lead. Just when you thought he was going to the back, he crosses over, finds a lane on the inside, and he gets the lead back. But not for long. Here comes Mina Monroe. And Mina Monroe will lead this lap. Back there as well, the 20 of Dylan Ibrahimian. He will now fall back, unfortunately. And it looks like the 6 this time will fall back. He has no help to that far outside lane. Frodo Marat's now pacing that inside line. You see the 13 trying to cross over. He just doesn't have the momentum. Oh, we got a wreck behind the 88. Dick Clark around it. It's a big one. Back there, the 8 of Eric Faden. The 16, does the 16 make it through? We'll see in replay. Trevor Collins is involved. Diego Yepes, Brad Stover. '24, Matt Hussey. Wreck on lap number 6 brings out the first caution of the race. Let's go see what happened. 4 wide for the race lead never works out. As you'll see here, Dick Clark goes up the track. This causes a big wreck. 24 into the wall. Double zeros around. Trevor Collins, I think, suffers some damage. And keep in mind, we got to go back and look at the 16 as well. We saw the 16 trying to get through. Oh, it looks like we had another spinner back there, and it was the 52. Yeah, the 52 got turned around too, so there were two separate wrecks, essentially. Let's back it up again. Yeah, 52 gets spun, they collide here, and this is what drags Diego Yepes and others into this. I apologize for the dog. You see there. Now the big question, does the 16 make it around these wrecks? Let's go on board and see. There's wreck 1, wreck number 2. Wow, the 16 Tyler Faden, some excellent driving. He makes it through. Let's take it back to the green. Getting ready for the restart here. It'll be Mina Monroe leading us back to green. We have no cars out of the race, which is remarkable. It'll be Mina Monroe, Steve Morgan, Frodo Maratz, Kevin McHugh, and Gene Sanford, your top 5. Then it'll be Ben Crouch, Tim Horton, Carter Joey, Samet Ozkan, and Stacy Stickler. That rounds out your top 10. As we get back to the restart zone, green flag will wave. We're back underway at Talladega. See a few of them already going 2 wide back there. And up front, already a 2 wide battle. For second, that's Steve Morgan. Frodo Maratz wants it. Keep in mind, with no cars out of the race, the damaged cars will get in the way of the leaders. And obviously, if we do have to use overtime, they will want to stay at least 1 lap down. It will essentially, because the green-white checkered, give them a reset. But again, they won't be able to go far, because it'll only be a 2-lap shootout. You see up ahead, Mina Monroe clears, and she is gone. Essentially, you see a little glitch there. That's not the 14. Here comes the 19, Ben Crouch. He wants second, and he has it now. Now he sets his sights on the leader. After this, we have another double points race, as mentioned, at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Our second of 4 on the Jello Cup schedule. See back behind us, look at how much they are single file there. Here goes Samet Ozkan, that's for second. And it looks like he's going to get it at the line. It is the 18. By just a hair. But Ben Crouch running in third. That's a good run for that 19 team so far. Here comes Dylan Young in the number 2. He's had a slow start to the season, hoping to get things going here. And you see as well, Hillary Sanchez is up there. Again, we got a double points race next. Then we head to Michigan for the Firekeepers Casino 400. That'll kick off next week on Monday, I believe. Yes, we had to Charlotte, Michigan. Then we go to Richmond in Kentucky And Pigs Creek, as mentioned, will be the next one. Up ahead, we do have a lapped car. As mentioned, Dick Clark is dead ahead, and he is easily 20 miles an hour below the speed limit of these cars. And you see there, the leaders are going to split them. Dylan Young gets around. Some of the inside lane guys will be able to get through as well. Wouldn't be a restrictor plate, I guess, if lap traffic didn't get in the middle of this, wouldn't it? That 10 is now a sitting duck. Look at how much slower he is, or she is, than the rest of the field behind her. Here comes Austin Shaw. He was off to a slow start this season. There they go. They have to split Matt Hussey. There's another lapped car down. Up ahead, though, they got Usman Hamid and Eric Faden. That's a little ways away. And then Anthony Logan. So they got a little time before the next batch of them. But for right now, looks like, I would say, about an 8 or 9 car breakaway up front, with 2 of the Stewart-Haas cars in this. You got a Ganassi, but you got mostly Fords in this front pack breakaway. Of course, 2 Penske's are in here as well, the 2 and the 22. And a lot of these guys at the back half of the standings. This is huge for some of them. We're just trying to make up some precious time and ground. Here goes Chris Smith, your runner-up last race at Milwaukee. He is now in second again, a familiar position for him. The field is now essentially split into 2 packs, but that second pack could gain some ground if these guys don't get single file. Here we go, Steve Morgan looking for second. He'll get it with some help from Dylan Young, and now Dylan Young will go low. You see behind them, that pack is running more single file, which benefits them. They'll be able to catch this pack, which is running 2-3 wide at some point. Saw Dylan Young got as high as third. He's now going to start falling back on that outside lane. The inside starting to pull up here. See the 2 Chevys there. Actually, the 3 Chevys now. 13, 16, and 48. Now, of course, you got the 32 in there, Hillary Sanchez. Turns 3 and 4, that's where the next batch of lapped cars are. And again, I want you to keep in mind, for those guys that this group is catching, they are trying to stay at least 1 lap down, because if they do, they will get a wave around. If we do have to use overtime, they will get a wave around. It will get them back on the lead lap. As you see a battle for the lead, finally someone is challenging the 10 of Mina Monroe, and it is Tyler Faden. He will take the race lead, but not for long. They are still side by side ahead, and this will allow the front few to start catching them. Or, I'm sorry, the second pack to start reeling them in. See there, Tyler Faden trying to go high. It doesn't do him any good. Austin Shaw running low. And why would you run too wide when your lap's down? It just holds up the race leaders. Just very selfish of the 52 and the 8. Dylan Young is the new race leader. I believe that's his first lap he's led all season. And yes, the second pack is here. But that 8 is still holding everybody up. I mean, don't get me wrong, I get it. You see there, they lapped the 24 again. If we do have overtime, the 24 will be out. So will the 21. That does not help them. And up ahead, the 00 of Anthony Logan. Then they got the 20 of Dylan Ibrahimian to worry about. So a whole mess of lap traffic in their way. And you see the 48 using the 00 as a pick on the 14. And it is now a 3-car breakaway, a Western New York Autosport car, and 2 Team Penske's leading this field right now with 10 laps to go. And wouldn't you know it, that one of those Penske's is that 22 of Mitchell Collins. His brother Trevor has won the past 2 Jello Cup Series races. His drivers have won the past 4. He falls back to 3rd. This is essentially unprecedented territory for Mitchell Collins. Because you gotta keep in mind, if he wins this race, it's 5 straight for his drivers. As Dylan Young looks for the lead, Mitchell Collins gonna be a good teammate and help out by pushing the 2 ahead. Lap traffic is in turn 4. Then up even further ahead is a slightly faster pack. Patrick Smith, Diego Yepes, Trevor Collins, and Brad Stover. 51 of Jeff Scott's on the pit lane with an issue. That's a tough break for Jeff Scott. This will cost him the points lead. As we saw, the 12 was running up front. Where is the 12? Because he will likely be the new points leader after this race. 12 is in 17th. Keep in mind this field is kind of divided into 2 packs right now. Make that 3. And there it is. They've caught the lap traffic. Dylan Young gets around. And the 19 moves high. This is going to allow the 48 to pass. And will the 22 follow? Yes, he will. But Dylan Young is the leader. Steve Morgan has caught this group. And you see the 20 is just blocking right now. Up ahead is Brad Stover. You can bet if you're the rest of the pack, you are praying that this brings out a caution. You know, in the later stages of the race, you're hoping a caution comes out. Get kind of an overtime reset. As Austin Shaw is looking for the lead, he will get it this lap. 6 to go. These 2 guys, 2 veterans of the series, slow starts for both of them. And they are just looking to capitalize before the big double points race next race. Up ahead is Matt Hussey again. And they'll battle it out once more. And now the 22 is back in the picture. But don't rule this out. The 13 is still in this picture as well. That is Steve Morgan, who was looking for a big upset today, as Dylan Young will lead us to 5 laps to go. And now he's blocked by the 24. Austin Shaw will go to the race lead. This will bring the 14 into this battle. Jeff Scott's off the pit lane. We don't exactly know what the issue was with the 51. He doesn't have any damage, so that's a good sign. But here's the 14 of Alexander Rowe. And now he will look for the race lead. But right behind them, see, the 51 is just trying to get up to speed. That 51 could have a say in who wins this race. Two Penske's that are drafting up, trying to get something going. They've got Hillary Sanchez with them. Oh, we got a caution. Richard Johnson's got damage. Matt Hussey's got damage again. And this may be the thing that these leaders were hoping for. The 24 has been 40 miles off the speed limit, or off their speed. And they may finally get their wish that the 24 is parked. No offense to Matt Hussey, of course. Now we will get a restart here, and we won't have to use overtime. But this is good news for the 21, the 88, the 8, the 52, the 00, the 20. This is all good news for those guys, because obviously if we get a late race restart, they will all get the wave around and essentially a reset on their cars. But obviously it won't be enough to get them back into the race. Let's go see what happened. Probably going to be some hurt feelings between the 16 and the 24 after this race. Tyler Faden trying to run low, and he just hits the 24 and just goes up and spins him. You could tell he's angry that the 24 kind of cut him off there. This isn't over though. Obviously the 16 is going to get some damage out of this, and that's a tough break for them. It'll hurt them as we hit the later stages of this race. See 24 trying to roll back up, trying to get straight again. And the 93 Ricky Johnson comes out of nowhere. This causes a wreck. The 93 hard into the wall. His day is over. Possibly Matt Hussey's as well. That's a tough break. These lap guys, they gotta stop racing right in the middle of the racing groove. This is the kind of stuff that would get them penalized normally. But unfortunately, I don't have that control. Let's take you back to the green. Getting ready for the restart. Keep in mind, we essentially have an unofficial green-white checkered here. Of course, if we get a caution, we will head to overtime. And something to keep in mind with that, the 20, the 00, again I remind you, the 20, the 00, the 52, the 8, the 88, and the 21 would all get back on the lead lap and essentially get a reset. So these guys praying for a caution, they may even cause one, who knows. But for the leaders up front, this is their chance now. They do not have lapped cars around them. Everyone is caught up to the pace car in the pack. So essentially this is going to be an exciting race to finish. Of course they got the 51 to worry about, and I mentioned the 51 might have an impact on this finish, as it'll be Alexander Rowe, Austin Shaw. They'll lead us back to the green. 2 laps of racing to go. What a day this would be for Barstool if they can get that 14 into victory lane. But here comes Dylan Young. Keep in mind, the 2 and the 48, they're hungry right now. They have had a slow start to this season. A win would certainly make them very happy. Here goes Austin Shaw. He will cut in front of Dylan Young and go for the race lead. Keep in mind, if we make it back to the white flag, the race is over. If we get a caution, we reset it. Austin Shaw moves high. This will allow Dylan Young to go low. White flag is out. We stay green, so we will not need overtime. Dylan Young into the side of the 48. Ben Crouch to the lead. And now the Fords will work together. Mitchell Collins, he goes low. But now he moves up the 32 of Hillary Sanchez to the inside. Does she have a run? Ben Crouch blocks it. If the 32's got anything, it's got to come out of turn 4. She will not make the move as we go down the front stretch. And Ben Crouch will win at Talladega. Chris Smith, his second runner-up finish of the season. Back-to-back for him. Good run for the 42. Hillary Sanchez comes out with a much-needed top 3, but just can't hang on to second or get the lead. Ben Crouch ends the streak for those Mitchell Collins drivers. Their congratulations to the number 19 of Ben Crouch. He survives mayhem and gets the job done. Make that 10 different winners in 11 races so far. And a lot of them are veterans, which is pretty, well, expected, I guess. In a normal racing series, it would be expected. But this is the Jello Cup Series, keep in mind. We want to thank you for watching the Geico 500 here on GCN. Here come your results and standings. Hope you guys enjoy a few days to yourselves. We'll be back here on Saturday. Of course, we'll be back here for Friday Night Gaming first. But then we will be back here with Jello Cup Series action on Saturday night for the Coca-Cola 600. Till then, here come your results and standings. Goodbye, everyone.